before getting Me Too'd. And after.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you. Hey there to all you wonderful, wonderful people. What a day today in the land of coverage, I swear. Tomorrow, I'll put this here. Tomorrow we are going to live stream here. I've been on the stream. I've been streaming every day. I was afraid I would miss days. Well, it looks like I'm not missing days. So we're going to start it up tomorrow here. We're going to cover, it'll be kicking into the Johnny Depp stuff. So this is when it starts getting good anyway. You know, obviously you've had a few other people that were interesting, but I'm just feeling that need. I'm feeling the need to sit down, talk about what I know, talk about it as it pertains to background that I know, and just have a little fun on that. And maybe not talk at all, talk a little bit, you know, when stuff comes up. I don't know. I'm just in the mood to stream. So I think we will do that tomorrow. We'll have it. We'll have fun. We'll goof off. Can I please get the music list? Yeah, remind me and I'll get it for you, you know. But yeah, I think we'll do that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, you see Johnny Depp going, you see all of that. And, hey, why not? I see, too. I saw a couple of super chats come in. Let me catch those right off the bat. And then let's talk about how today went. Because today was interesting in a lot of aspects. You know, you didn't just have Johnny Depp as part of it. You also had another testimony, too. Johnny Depp eclipsed the other one that went off today. But there was another one, too. There's some other stuff out there. I don't know if I want to cover it today. There's actually a huge piece of evidentiary that's out there that I don't think's been noticed. 2012, thanks for the 2 there. So I know about JD's eye problem. I have it. My daughter has that too. I'll talk about it in a minute too. Uncle Brat, thanks for the 10. I've been so surprised that so many of JD's beneficiaries have been so supportive of him, and we usually see generosity as accepted happily, then with animosity, then finally as hatred. Well, I mean, there have been a lot of the beneficiaries that are close friends of his, but if they've known him, but if they were hers, they've been just like what you described, which is sad. Jason Cox, thanks for the 5. End of JD's testimony. He spent about 10 minutes on video talking to his lawyers. Think AH would try to get him kicked for talking. Watch the end of the day. She'll probably try anything she can. Good luck with that, though. The only thing that they could do is cue a mistrial. That would be the only thing that they could probably manage. You know, if they managed in mistrial, that would suck, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Evil Befall, too. Thank you. welcome. Thank you for that membership too. Saw it roll in. Welcome to the Tuggernauts. Also, I have two others that are listed in the last 0 days, so I'm going to list them. MTB Scotty, thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome to that membership, and welcome to Tugs Thugs. And also, Dee Dee, thank you and welcome. Thank you for your membership, and welcome also to Tugs Thugs. Also, Margaret Lowell, thank you for the $2 and that super sticker. Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. Ooh, and another member too. Kevin, thank you and welcome. Thank you for that membership too, and welcome to Tugs Thugs. So if y'all didn't catch everything today, I think there's a lot of things that are worth covering in today's testimony. I think there's a lot of things that happened that, well, some of them are crazy. Some of them are sad. I mean, when JD was talking about his family, for example, when he was talking about his childhood, that was sad. Okay, so he brought up one thing in there that a super chat mentioned and talked about he had an eye, like his eye, he had to cover up one good eye, to strengthen his weaker eye. You know, they thought that in fact, he's legally blind in one eye still. My daughter has that problem, and you know, she is so kind and so sweet. She's 8, and I can't imagine someone being really cruel to her, especially in his instance. That would have been the parent being mean. That would have been like me being mean to my own kid. I can't imagine. Like, that's just terrible, you know? Like, you feel bad for somebody, like when they talk about the worst aspects. You know, looking at this as a mental health therapist, I understand a lot of why JD stayed in this relationship. In fact, I thought about doing a video talking about his childhood and looking at that as the reason that he stayed in. Because you learn these cues when you're a kid. You just fall into that habit. Snuggle wants a refund. Thanks for 2. Amber's a German U-boat captain. And sure. That Amacream's amazing stuff, huh? Shuff, thanks for the 5. If you want to be a legendary journalist, you have to spill the news. Well, I was looking, you know, it has to do with a lot of the police stuff. Like, if you look at the police stuff and you really start examining it, I'm thinking that we've been looking at the police wrong. I think we've been looking at them way wrong. And if you know, I was looking at another report from today and thinking about this stuff myself. And if you look at the camera, if you look at all the clocks outside of the elevators versus the clocks inside the elevators, it looks like the clocks are actually a little bit off in the elevator. So what that would mean is when the police are actually on scene, they're on scene at a different time than you realize, which would actually mean that the metadata that's attached is even worse than you thought. Like, there's a huge problem in that. I've been looking at some of the evidentiary slides anyway. Okay, there's like the Johnny Depp elevator footage. So a lot of people kept mentioning to me, "Hey, Tug, that's sped up. You know, that's sped up." And I was looking at it and I thought, that does look weird. You know, that one piece of footage. Let me play this for you. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull it up and I'll put it in something and slow it down. All right. Because it'll show you, but it's one of their evidence pieces, and he looks frantic in it. You know, he's moving around so frenetically that when you look at it, you don't think anything about the speed until you look at it slowed down. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, there's about 3 minutes of footage there, but some of it you'll cut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it at real speed, and I'm going to play it at regular speed. I want to show you that too, you know. And then, like I said, we'll get into today's. Somebody mentioned this the other day, and I couldn't let it go because I thought, you know, they're right. They seem like they're right. So let me show you this, okay? So check this out. These are the first part that I'm going to show you is in evidence, and the second part, there's no sound. All right, just a note. Hey, what's up, Tarantula Ravenblood? Thanks for the 5. Amica, he beat me with kindness and free rent for me and my family. That's what I got from today. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like, you know what I got from today? It sounds like a good deal for everyone that's Johnny Depp's friend. I'll tell you, too. People were talking about the way that he spoke today. He speaks like that all the time, whether you're talking to him on the phone, whether you're talking to him like in interviews or whatever. The guy, that's his speech pattern. Like, people were making this weird thing of the way that he speaks, like his metering. Now, granted, I've always wondered too, when you're like, if you're an actor and all you do is learn lines throughout your life, is it hard to find yourself? I've always wondered that, how hard it is to find yourself and to find your metering and stuff. And he's used drugs. He's 58. That probably has given him a little more forethought into life. But that's how he speaks. Like, that's how he speaks all the time. For sure, like 100%. Like, whether, like I said, it's a phone call, it's a meeting. That's just the way the guy speaks. So people that listen to that, they seem to want to make more of it than it was. And I thought that was kind of interesting, I suppose, considering it's just how he is. K-Rab, thank you and welcome. And also, thank you for that membership and welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate that, K-Rab. Doug Mary, thanks for the 10. Tug, you should reach out and try to get an interview with JD once the trial is over and the dust settles. Glad WRECKS brought you on and turned us onto your channel. I appreciate that, Doug. Yeah, like I said, I'll probably, well, we had talked early on, and I thought that I wouldn't be able to cover for the length of the trial, but I've been there the whole time, so I'm going to stream tomorrow. I'm just feeling it. But I appreciate that, too. Rich Russ, welcome. Thank you. Welcome to that member. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you and welcome. And thank you for the membership, too. And welcome to Tugs Thugs. My brain got a little frazzled there for a second. I got it all out of whack. All right, so check us out. All right. So this is one of the evidentiary slides. There's a bunch of these. There's a bunch of these out there. But in this one, okay, you get to see JD enter the elevator. This is on the day that they're leaving. Okay, now when you look at their speed, like his speed again, like his movements just they just seem off a bit. Now again, you can blame certain things on anger. Again, you're gonna have a lot of movement in there, but his speed just felt off when I was watching that, especially with other people, the movement of heads, and I don't know, it just seems strange. Like I said, he's worked up, he's keyed up, so he would be antsy. Now, here's it again. All right, give me a second. It's going to take it a minute to get all the way back. Now, here's it again at 75%. Now, you tell me. It's probably closer to 82 is what I'm thinking, but still. When you see the entry, like it seems too fast in the other one. There's something off with that original. It doesn't feel right. Like, I think that is a manipulated video. You got to remember, it's a video that's been sitting around for 6 years, So it feels weird. Yeah, doesn't that look like his motion to him? Okay, the head shake. Like, look at the head shake here. See, like in the original when he does the head shake. See, it's weird. Like I said, there's something wrong about it. The speed is off. Not expert. Again, this is already in evidence. Now, I've reached out to, it has seconds. Well, yeah, but, with the seconds on the bottom, what you need to do still is see if somebody has manipulated the video. Because the video, it's real easy to take something and put it at 1.5 times speed. I mean, it's pretty easy to run the sucker up and to make it look right. Like, again, with the tools on the thing that I'm playing with here, I could easily just manipulate any of this this data. I could do it myself, like right here, like right in front of you. I mean, it wouldn't be hard at all. And again, this has been sitting around for 6 years. So, I mean, like I said, I turned it down to 75%. Is that tampering with evidence? Yeah. But again, who did it? Could it have been, could it have been an accident? Could it have been on purpose? I don't know. Like I said, I just feel like it's weird. Suggles wants a refund. Thanks for the 2. Amber is Flava Flav and Amica. Check for the clock. The clock's already struck 12 on that one for sure. The pumpkin came out. Jennifer, thanks for the 10 there. As a survivor of abuse, I have, over numerous occasions, been accused of abuse in society, and some professionals believe statistics as rules, not a guide. Yeah, the problem I think with like this case is you see the best of a person leading to the worst of another person. You see like JD. Okay, today we heard tell about Amber Heard and how she worked her way into JD's life. He met her on a movie. He thought she's not that good of an actor. Again, he says it in a nice way. All right. But he's telling you she's not that good of an actress. All right, she wasn't that good of one, but I thought I could help her out. Now when he gets to know her, now here's your thing about her manipulating. If you really want to see it, JD likes eclectic jazz music. Now, you're going to tell me that Amber Heard, Texan Amber Heard, with the upbringing and family that she has, she listens at her age, it would have been around, 25? She listens to eclectic jazz music, and she watches older black and white films. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. When you look at Amber Heard, she doesn't seem to have any of the distinguishing character. She doesn't seem to have a lot of herself in it, period. She looks like a very once you get past the outward, there's not a lot of inward hue, I would say. Like she seems like a very hollow thing. So it'd be very hard for me to imagine her, again, listening to eclectic jazz music and sitting around and watching, old black and white films. And I mean, it just doesn't strike me as that at all. I feel like JD, met her. He thought she was pretty. He thought, like, he said something that tells me, again, this is the therapist in me speaking. He found surrogate family. He finally found that thing that he wanted because his family was tumultuous. His family, the relationship dynamic was broken, and he wanted that. Like everybody wants that. Everyone wants connection. Everyone wants to feel loved. And even after 14 years in a relationship with children, he still didn't have that hole filled in him. So it's not just about pretty woman giving him something there that he felt he was missing. It's more than that. It's about somebody filling the hole. Like he said, I'm going to pull up this statement. See, what I do while we're live streaming, I do this on Twitter. I make notes, basically, and I post them because these are just some of the things. Again, he spoke so much today that I couldn't keep up with everything in it. Now, one thing that there are a couple of things that stood out that I want to talk about. I want to talk about also her and the way she tried to human today, and she's very bad at it. She's very bad at humaning. Like if she were better at this, again, if she were a better faker, like if she would have punched herself in the face with a row of quarters, we wouldn't be having the same conversation we have. Because she would have had a way of proving, her pictures. But it's the same thing that, I mean, when you look at her face, this is her she's looking at the jury. She's trying to dress down. She's trying to look sympathetic. You notice she has less makeup on too. She's trying to look plain. She's trying to look like a TV abuse victim. Not a survivor, a victim. She's trying to pop into that. But this is what he said about their family. Oh, by the way, 6 is hungry. Thanks for the 10. Keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome. You're the reason I got into this. It's such an insane world, and I hope Johnny gets justice. Also, this live stream is brought to you by Amica Cream. Amica Cream. Amica Cream. Get your Amica on. Wait, I need to do an advertisement real quick. I'm feeling the need, kids. Give me 1 second. Brought to you by I Love Amica Cream. That's right. Feeling a little bit dry skin, having a little bit of that skin condition, been chased into an abandoned warehouse by a bunch of angry town folks. Get Amica Cream. Find yourself with the munchies or being munched on. Think, whoa, fella, I said go down there, but not like that. Oh, that's terrible to say. Yeah, try a little Amica Cream. Been at the Renaissance Festival, had a little accident. Try Amica Cream. There is a cream for all of that. Thank you. Elizabeth T, thanks for the 5. Dude, the trailer seduction story was just like the Kevin Costner story. Yes, exactly. And she wanted to stay hooked up. Yes, she was willing to leave her significant other. I mean, she's the same person every time. Surfer Rosa, thanks for the $17.99. I thought it was important that he mentioned he learned at a young age how to observe and just go when his mother was going off. So he would remove himself. Yep, removing is relevant to being with her. Yes, the whole story works with Amber Heard. The whole story of background. This really stuck with me. And again, I take out some of the filler sentences that come with it, because I'm typing fast. I'm not the fastest typer ever. I still hunt and peck because I have really long fingers. Okay, so it's hard for me to do the classic finger setup with a keyboard, because I have huge hands. I could wrap my hand around the keyboard almost, so it's hard to do that. But I still can type decently fast. So she was like an angel, he said. This was the first when he was talking about the mother. When the first time he met the mother, I loved her instantly. Now, as far as the father, he was the opposite of the mother. He was like a cartoon cowboy. I thought that was interesting. He reminded me, when he was talking, I was thinking Yosemite Sam. He was a rascal. But still, JD said, I grew to love them both very much. I felt welcome into, and the descriptor that he used there, family. I felt welcomed into family. That's something that when he was discussing growing up, that he had been denied all his life. He didn't have family. He didn't have, even when he had family of the unhealthy variety, it still walked out the door. His father, he was gone. And he talked about his father. His father was a hero figure in his life. Like, if you listen to him, even though his father abused him at the bequest of his mother, he still held his father to this lofty pedestal. And I think the reason he, first of all, as a kid, you're going to see them a certain way. And then later on, you get to where you understand your parents a little more. You get to understand that as children, I always like the statement, mom, our mother is the name of God to small children. I always like that statement because it is. Like, as a child, a parent can do no wrong. They're above human. They're some ethereal creature. They're almost like God to you. They can do no wrong. You will forgive them and you want to be like them. You know nothing else. When you get older, though, and you become a parent yourself, you start to demystify that. You start to understand that, your parents are flawed human beings, just like you. They're just people trying to get by while living their own lives. And you understand that. And that's not excusing any of the horrible stuff that, like, his parent did. It's just the reality is that parents for better or worse, are people, and many of them are terribly flawed creatures. But he was denied family. He wanted family, and he thought he found that in Amber Heard. Amber Heard, like I said, she's a chameleon. She figured that out. Let me roll this down. I don't want to make you watch me roll this, okay? So when JD first took the stand, he talked about being in the Appalachians. All right, now, I'm from the Appalachians, and that always resonated with me because it is poor here. Like most people, you hear people talk about struggling and surviving, in first world terms. But I tell you, there is nothing like coming from the dirt, from the nothing, and having people tell you that you will always be in the dirt, in the nothing. I lived that life. I lived it for the longest time. I believed that life. My mom worked hard to give us more. But I'm from that. So I'm not very removed from it. In fact, I'm the first person in my family, as I said, to go to college. And really to try to break free of those bonds. I've been fortunate in that, like, I have family that have done more. But like I said, I'm from the Appalachians, man. I'm not from Kentucky. I'm from Tennessee. Same area, though. When I talk about wanting to do charity for kids here, for example, we give about a fourth of our channel earnings per month to helping out our community. And the reason for that is, man, like here, we have 13,000 people in this county that are under our census. And the last report I saw noted over 1,000 kids in this area living in poverty. 1/13 of our population. Kids. That's almost all your kids here. Like the majority of your kids live in poverty. That's terrible. Like it's amazing. I would get with church groups and do stuff. We give away backpacks and things like that. There's just something about like some little kid coming up and asking for something for like you ask them, hey, would you want this? And like there was a little girl at one of these wanted a kitty backpack, like it had a kitty on it, and we asked her, do you want that? And she said, well, I don't have any money. And when we gave it to her, I mean, it hit me right in the feels. Oh, right in the feels. It still hits me in my feels. It's crazy. You would think like in places where a backpack matters. Like I said, it still hits me in my feels. It's amazing that you can make people happier with a backpack. I mean, it's a profound statement about where you live when a backpack is a luxury item. I mean, that's wow. I never thought, like, you don't think about that anymore, when you get to a certain point. Medical Bump, thanks for the vibe. After hearing the abuse, his trademark Betty Sue tattoo makes me heartsick. How very sad. That's very true. It's very true. Claude Jansen, thanks for the 10 there. Johnny met the demon he grew up with when he met A.H. It was hard to listen to, but his childhood was horrific. A.H. gaslit and abused him. He left, and she had to get out in front of the abuse. Yeah, he would have never brought it up. What she needed is she needed to leverage him. She still needed to make money, or she still needed to use him for clout. That's what she did. She's still using him. J.H., thanks for the 15 there. The more I see of Johnny, the more I can. They wish the best for him. Kind, generous, just a good dude. What's your opinion of Hollywood taking him back? Not that they deserved him. I don't know what Hollywood will do. I'll answer that in just a second, okay? Well, now let me say this. I think cancel culture, this thing that we see, what happened with JD and people just acting on impulse, that is systemic of Hollywood. JD still has a career outside of Hollywood in the European market, and I don't think JD wants to go back to Hollywood. So would Hollywood have him back? Possibly. Would he have them back? I would think unlikely. He can still get work and probably very rewarding work. It'd probably take a lot of money and probably a lot more to get him to come back. Now, I can't say he wouldn't, but from what I've heard from several very good sources in the know, well, you've seen the alpaca statements, first of all. For $1 million, a million alpacas, I ain't coming back. So he doesn't plan on going back. But I've heard from many people that he believes that, very much so. Carol Funk, thanks for the 5. Love Tug Community you've built here. And I believe you'll be streaming tomorrow. Well, thank you. I just, like I said, I'm feeling the stream. I'm feeling it. I want to stream tomorrow. I just want to. Snuggles wants a refund. Thanks for the 2. Amber Heard is really Uncle Fester and Amica. Amica's magic. Mr. Jennings, thanks for the 10. JD, dressing up Jack Sparrow and spending a whole day greeting everyone shows the heart he has and how he wanted to give kids something he never had. Yeah, I've heard from several people. Again, JD apparently calls it Jack in the Box. That's what he refers to it as. He carries around Jack in the Box. He carries Jack Sparrow around in a box with him. And if he finds a kid's hospital he wants to go to, he just stops there. Now, what's really callous and cold is that Amber Heard one time decided to try to weaponize that against him and to say, no, he brings in camera crews because one of the hospitals he went to had an in-hospital camera crew. They did their own PR and they saw he was there and they asked him if he could film and he let them because it helps the hospital, which gets them more funding, which helps more kids. So he allowed them to do that. And because he allowed them to do that, she tried to weaponize it, which is disgusting. But that's who she is. It's who she's always been. Cage Girl 78, thank you and welcome. And also thank you for that membership and welcome to Tugs Thugs. Thank you for real. Appreciate that. ID Crisis, thanks for the 5 there. Very often those who grow up with abuse become attracted to it in adulthood. We marry our mothers. Good for him for getting out. Yeah, I mean, look what it took to get out, though. I wonder, here's a strange question. Again, this is just thinking outside of that proverbial box. You notice he left one day after his mother died. Do you think it, when he was dealing with that? I mean, think about that. That's kind of profound in its own way, isn't it? One day after his mother died, he shed the abusive relationship. Now, it kept him enshrouded in that, but I think, too, it has more to do with just getting rid of the abusive relationship there. I think she showed him, like in those moments, when I lost my father, that would be my stepfather. My father was not a good person. My real father was a terrible human being. But my stepfather, whom I was around a lot, I loved him dearly. And when we lost him, I needed people around me. And to find yourself in a situation where the one person you rely on for support is not there, I'm sure that's a wake-up call. I'm sure that was a wake-up call for JD. Cage Girl 78, thanks for the additional 5 there. And the super sticker, hiya. Well, hey there, back at you. Thank you. Evidence, thanks for the 10 there. Hey, Tug, I just want to let you know that you're doing great today. I'll be praying for the future of this country and how Amica Cream will uncancel JD. Indeed. Slather on, baby. Slathered on. So, this was the first, okay, when they were talking about it, when they got rid of here's part of, he did an opening, and I thought his opening was very telling. So he said about 6 years ago, these are the parts that I thought really stood out. And there's a good opening. If you didn't watch the opening, I mean, I would play the whole thing. It's about an hour plus, but really, I think you'd probably enjoy it. Why? If you didn't watch it today, watch it. Just watch it. You can find a clip of it. You can find the whole hour clipped out. Just go watch it later on, But he said about 6 years ago, Amber Heard made disturbing... Sometimes he'll say she or Miss Heard, and I'll put it as Amber Heard. So Amber Heard made disturbing claims against me that are not based in truth. It was a complete shock. He did not need to go in this direction. He said that many times. He did not need to go in this direction. Nothing of the kind ever happened. These claims, they never took place. But he was like, when this is breaking down, it never needed to go in this direction. It never had to. He made it very clear to, right from go. I've never struck Amber Heard, nor have I struck any woman. Now, one of the things that they're going to try to attack him with, actually, there was a nasty thing that happened today, too. Very nasty. So, the person that was on before JD, Keenan Wyatt, sound technician, he was attacked by her crazy lady defender. And part of that, she started bringing up Vanessa Paradis. That would be JD's ex before Amber Heard, the mother of his children, 14 years relationship. Started talking about her being abused by JD. Now, Vanessa Paradis has gone on record multiple times saying nothing happened. He was a great loving man. In fact, everybody we've heard from has gone on record. Everybody, except Amber Heard. Amber Heard is the only person to ever say the man abused her. Ever. And again, it doesn't, there's an MO to that, okay? It doesn't make sense. JD is a secretive person, all right? You would think if he had a demon that he had, a monster, as they've wanted to call it, that he locked up inside, and it came out, he wouldn't let it out within a few months of their relationship. He's secretive. He's always kept himself out of the spotlight. He wouldn't feel that he could unleash this on some rando and just let it get out of hand, and that'd be that, right? I mean, that wouldn't make sense, because you would be risking everything on the silence of Amber Heard. And it's never, again, you don't typically just develop this out of the blue. It just doesn't poof, it pop up. There's build towards that. There's something more. There's signs. People around see it. They witness it. By his age, it wouldn't have been a secret anymore. But they treat it again, the way that they carried it, it's crazy. Snuggles wants a weird fun. Thanks for the 2. Amber had testicular cancer. Amica saved her. Hey, speaking of, one of the things I found interesting in their conversation, it was interesting to hear JD try to figure out how to discuss Io Till It Right. He was trying to figure out, how to be nice about it. Who do I call? What do I call this person? What are their descriptors? It was just kind of interesting to see. So, JD, after he made his opening, he talked about his kids being bullied. And I thought the story of his kids being bullied, he said this a few times. Some people, I was reading chat, and the chat actually, I thought it was very unkind the way some people in chat acted about that. They kept, as a father. Dude, I'm a father. And when I look at things that impact, I look at how my girls are impacted by stuff. And when things impact my girls, that's when it really sticks out to me. I mean, the true gravity of something. Like when I was online and people targeted my kids, I thought, oh my God, these people really are whack jobs of the lowest kind. You see that in there. And he noted, I thought it was diabolical that my children would go to school and people would approach them with a People magazine cover with Amber Heard on it, with a bruise on their face. They would bully his kids, talking about, your daddy's an abuser. Again, when he was canceled, it didn't just stop with him, because it never just stops with one person. It went beyond him, and it went into everyone that he cared about, because that's the way stuff like this goes. You don't just stop with one person. They carry it forward. They carry it into this ugly place that just, like I said, it never stops. Now, Depp said, why I'm getting up there, this statement right here. He had more statement around it. But my goal is the truth. Now, that's going to be something that they go at him hard for later. Mark my word on that. They're going to go really hard at JD using the word truth. Because they're going to try to impeach his truthfulness. Of course they are. I mean, that's part of the goal for her and all. And they're gonna go after that, and they're gonna go after it hard. It was crazy in all of this. He even felt the need to apologize for his text messages to that whack job, you know? It's just, it's funny is, like, I was just checking my phone, and even, like, relatives they were like, I hear you do the YouTubes. Well, apparently some of them saw me on, online. They were like, "Oh, you're covering, you're talking about that with on that news channel." They think that like streaming things are news channels. It's just funny. So it kind of made me laugh for a second. A news channel. King Leak, what's up? Thanks for the tune. More shickles for Lug and Bug. Thank you for that, man. Yeah. With JD, dude. Yeah, JD, I just, what a messed up situation. Also, F and perturb. Exactly. God, I think about like all this stupid. Well, he said this, like this was a good one. Actually, I guess that caught on a lot too. He said, one day you're Cinderella. The next you're Quasimodo. I don't deserve that. Nor do my children. Nor did the people that believed in me. That's Hollywood. He wasn't talking about society. He was talking about how Hollywood treated him. One day he was Cinderella. They loved him, and everybody invited him. He was the proverbial belle of the ball. And then he was Quasimodo. Nobody wanted to bring him. I thought that was telling too. It's amazing how fast people will turn on you. How fast they will leverage you. How fast they will burn you at the stake if they have. I mean, if you ever doubt that, I mean, holy crap, just look at this. This guy is the biggest name in the acting world, I would say. I mean, when you say his name, everybody recognizes him. When we're talking about biggest actors, just think about, someone you would recognize. He would be a name I could easily throw out there, and most people would know him. Every juror knew who he was, right? Now, the jurors said they didn't know about the claims. They also didn't know who she was, but they knew who he was. One of the things that they tried to do in this case multiple times, too, they haven't done it to him yet, but they will. They've brought up Marilyn Manson. They brought it up with the Keenan Wyatt that testified before. And the reason that they're doing that, see, Marilyn Manson has a connection. He and JD are friends to the point that Marilyn Manson is a godfather of his child. All right? So he's a goddaughter. They're trying to work around have you ever heard about the claims about Johnny Depp? Because there may be somebody in there that's heard about the claims about Marilyn Manson. They've done it enough every time they get a chance that I think that that's intentional for evoking some kind of response there. Miss Umagard, seriously? It took me a second to catch that name. I like that name. That's funny. Thanks for the vibe. Sadly, what goes around comes around. The baby girl is going to have to hear about their mother being an abuser. She did what she did. The baby will grow up thinking that her mother was abused and thinking that JD was a monster that caused all of this because the mother will control the narrative and so will the people around her. They'll grow up thinking that's the truth until one day maybe they run across the truth. Or they'll think everybody out here is just a monster. We're all monsters that turned on the poor abuse victim. Snuggles, thanks for the 2 there. Appreciate that. Snuggles, what's that refund? I like the name. Amber is really Krampus in a suit. She sounds like she'd bring you the switches. You got to be careful. Darkstream, thanks, 17, thanks for the 10. Hey, Tug, thank you for taking this torch alongside of Nick, covering this as well. Hope this shines a light on the false accusations. Off topic. Ezra Miller is trending again. He got arrested again in Hawaii. Yes, I saw that. If people haven't heard, Ezra Miller has been arrested yet again. So the guy that replaced Johnny Depp as the face of Fantastic Beasts, he's arrested again. Not that it matters because Fantastic Beasts is toast, but Warner Brothers kept him on, kept him working, made him the Flash and everything else. He's been arrested again. I tell you, it's crazy. It's second-degree assault, if I read it correctly. So he's attacked someone else. Uncle Brat, thanks for the 20. I'm sorry, but I can't listen to Nick anymore. Most of these guests talk over the court, and then Nick tells the chat to go elsewhere. Well, I did. I'm going to stream tomorrow, so just come over here. I'm going to stream tomorrow. Again, that has nothing to do with anybody. I love Nick. I'm just in the mood to stream. So tomorrow, I'm going to stream here. Y'all can come over. We'll goof off. We'll start in the morning early. You know, we'll do a little pre-show, warm up, and then JD will come on. So we gonna do it. And if you want to listen to someone else, you can do that there. You know, it doesn't matter. I would rather you be here. I'm not gonna tell you to go away, but I try not to talk over any of the chat. Well, it depends on who's speaking. Like there's some testimony that doesn't matter, but like with Depp, people will ask like, what happened to Tug? Well, I'm listening. I'm listening to the testimony. And again, that's not a shot at anybody either. That's the way I operate when the testimony's going. Now again, with channels like that, people like trials can be very boring. Trials can be very boring. So you need some kind of levity in a lot of it. Like you've seen a lot of witnesses that suck in this trial that you think, oh my God. But for JD, I wanted to listen to. And again, that's not why I'm there. I've been here every day for the trial. So I feel like I'll be here every day. If I'm not for some reason, I guess we'll figure that out. But right now I'm here every day. So like I said, I feel like streaming tomorrow and I'm going to. Like it'll be fun. We can cover the JD stuff. We can see what's happening. And I don't know. I like seeing it and seeing what happens live. So we'll do it. Now, JD also added to his statements, I can't say that I'm embarrassed because I'm doing the right thing. Like I said, I think certain statements stick out as profound items. Let's stay there. Like having you on with Rackets as well. Yeah, I mean, I like being on. I don't like large groups of it. The only channel that I usually go on with a lot of people on at one time is I go on Flashcast, but that's because like I'm friendly or friends with everybody and I just goof off with them. But I don't typically go on places where we have larger panels anyway, because I don't like fighting for the mic. Like I don't like. I know some people will just speak up really loud until they get it, but I don't like to do that. So I don't typically go on larger panel shows. Rackets is a fun show. Like I said, I've been on there I've also been on somebody else's thing for a week, and I mean it's a lot of streaming. So that's why I'm thinking about just doing mine. It's a long time to sit out there and like when you figure that's 8 hours at what 3, 5, so that's a 40-hour work week. Yeah, that's 40 hours on another stream. It's like, oh Lord, it's a long time. That for JD, thanks for the find there. Hey Tug, send love from Australia. Thanks for filling me in on the latest. JD, he deserves all the love. If you haven't been able to watch it, make sure it does have a mic frog problem. I like to talk. I do. Like I'll sit here with you tonight and I will talk the entire time. I'm not saying I have to do that in a live stream, listening to somebody. But yeah, I mean that's part of it. I'm accustomed, like in my day job. That's what you do. You listen to people and you talk. I'm used to there being a one-to-one, and you guys would be the one that I'd be talking with. So that's actually what I'm accustomed to. IB Jack, thanks for the 2. Whisper sensually in that southern voice, Tug. Hey there, how you doing? Yeah, you like that. How's that? Ugh. Snows wants a refund. Thanks for the 2. Amber uses turds as casino chip. That's gross. I'd hate to actually, like, she'd be like, you got to know when to fold them. Go gross. I don't want that. Trace 3, thanks for the 10. Do you think Whitney and her friend Jennifer Howe will testify at the point? Thanks for all your work. I think there will be deposition turned in for certain people. They actually have the list. I'll pull up the witness list for us in a little bit, okay? I'll pull up the witness. Christine, thanks for that. My favorite was his response when asked how long Rocky stayed at the penthouse. Longer than me. That's true, too. Also, the truth rather than my truth. That's true. So Johnny Depp, he talked about his mama. Now, in his mama, you saw Amber Heard. This is what I said before when I've heard that. He's talking about throwing objects like ashtrays, the violence. And he made a few profound statements that made this real. That, again, there will be people that bring this up to say they're doing it for clout, but he wasn't doing it for clout. You could tell. He wasn't doing it as a deflection point. You could tell. And it was just the little things in it. Like when he was talking about physical versus psychological abuse. The beatings were just physical pain. You learn how to deal with that, to accept it. But the psychological abuse, that's what tore us up. And that's true, that's true at any level in life, but especially as a child. A psychological abuser typically knows how to press your buttons. They know wherein your weaknesses lie. And they found JD's weaknesses as a child, his mother did, and would go after him or his brothers. Like he said, his brothers' teeth, they were an issue. His eye, that was an issue. And mom would make fun of them, push their buttons, give them disparaging nicknames. And again, not fun, not having fun in that. He told a story about his father. And his father basically going to give him a spanking. Why was this going to get a spanking? Because his mama said he did something wrong, and he said he didn't. He didn't do it. His father gave him that anyway, and he was talking about later on when he whipped him. Like, oh, that's what he did. He didn't spank him, he whipped him. And after he did it, he came to him and apologized. And that, to Johnny Depp, that made it okay. You could hear the kid in that. The eyes, like, you could hear the kid still saying that, making excuses for the person. Pituitary gland, thanks for the 5. And that super sticker, pituitary gland, thank you. That's cool. Josh Jordan, thanks for the 5. Watching this trial is therapeutic. Had my own problems with manipulative gaslighter in the past. Thanks for what you do. I appreciate that. We're gonna see more of these people getting canceled. Big names. We see it all the time. What's crazy to me is most people, when they're canceled, they just go along to get along because they can keep their careers. Like, think about this. Okay, Liam Neeson. He talked about, again, it doesn't particularly matter what you think about his statement. It was the response from Hollywood and people out there. Liam Neeson talked about one of his friends being raped, a girlfriend, and how she said that it was a black guy that did it. So he got drunk, he got a little bit of that liquid courage, and he was going to bash in whatever first person that he saw, a black guy, because that was the description. Now, the way social media responded to that was like, oh my God, he's a racist, he's a monster. And that's not what he was telling you at all. Again, You look at that, that's stupid. That's a stupid way to respond. That's how people are. They're visceral. They want someone to pay. Like that hate got in him. He's going to hurt somebody. And he didn't, he said. But that's how he responded. And people are going to cancel him over that thing. And Hollywood statements came out. They're going to ruin him. And you know what happened? He didn't stand up. Just for a little thing like that. Like it was a statement about, in the past, this is what happened. Like he almost got canceled just like that. And he didn't stand up for himself, because most of these people never will. When somebody's accused of something, too, they don't stand up. Normally, they just eat it. Like, you'll hear people that'll say, the accusation against me is not true, but you need to listen to her truth. You need to believe her truth. Even if they're saying it's not real. Why are they telling you that? Well, either they're guilty, that's a possibility, or they're afraid societally that if they speak up for themselves, they will be destroyed. Like, it'd have been easy for JD just to play the blackmail money. $600,000 a year he would have had to pay to her in cash as living expenses. 3 penthouses so she could continue to party all the time. She would have had a vehicle there. She would have gotten, as a settlement as far as properties, let's just say she would have gotten $6 million in properties. That would have been a little, maybe rounded up. But let's just say that. One of those properties sold for 1.8. And again, they sell from 1 to, let's just call them 2 each. That's an easy way. And then $600,000 plus $125,000 in legal fees. He could have paid that and been done with her there. But he didn't, because he first of all, he probably knew what was coming. He knew she would do this anyway. Like, she'd have never kept her mouth shut. Heather Painter, thanks for the 5. You're number 1. No, you all are number 1. For real. You showing up, you doing this stuff. I'm very fortunate. Like, this stuff, too, I'll have to say. Like, YouTube and comics and all that have been life-changing for me and mine, too. So, like I say, when we're talking about coming from the dirt, man, one of the things, like, even mental health. Like, I chose mental health so I could help out in these communities. But it is not very lavish living. You still scrimp by, I couldn't have been able to afford a real home or anything off of that, but not easily. Now my 2 girls, like, they get to be homeschooled. My wife takes care of them, and we've been able to, like, not outright buy a home, but we've been able to pay down on a home, and I mean, it's been good, like I said. So thank you. You all are number 1. Finbar White, thanks for the 5. Do you think Amber will make more accusations on the stand? Hope you get some rest. She's going to make, I don't think there will be new incidents. I think what she's going to do is she's going to make new, crazier accusations, like building on them. You're going to hear about her getting violated with a bottle. She's going to cry a few times. She's going to try to human and emote very well. It's not going to be good. She doesn't human very well. What's that? Thanks for you. It's not easy to cancel. Brian Gates. Hey, thanks for that 21-month membership, too. Appreciate that. Everyone remember to back Hunt for the Littlest Umbrella. By the way, Another Case was the first indie comic I backed. Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, I can now say, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, if you haven't checked out the comic, by the way, I'm going to pin it to the description. I should have mentioned it off the beginning. We have our comic book. I've not gone over that. I'm not going to pitch it yet. This is our way of doing something. Like, there's so much. It's frustrating to think of industry the way it is. Like, I mean, my God, look at the way the industry treats. It wasn't just the way they treated this guy. It was the way that they responded to 1.8 million signatures on something. You know what they told you? We know better than you. Peter Safran came out at the bequest of Warner Brothers and said, we know what's best for our stuff, not you. Okay. You really want to play that game? Because that was not a smart game. But they did. They wanted to play that game. So you walk away. You walk towards something. I pinned it to the top. We'll talk about it later. But I do appreciate that for sure. Now, Depp, on the first time, he noticed issues with Amber Heard. So he was talking about he used to come in all the time, and she would take off his boots and set them to the side. And, he thought that was the biggest thing in the world, her taking off his boots and setting them down, getting him something. Because he never had that. That's what he's telling you, that's fascinating to me too. Like a relationship. He had never had anybody take care of him, even with his 14 years of, I guess they have a different relationship. Again, not to talk smack about another relationship. That's its own thing. But I just thought that was interesting. So something as little as her taking off his boots and setting them down so he could, do his thing. I thought that was kind of the impact that made on the man, At the level of fame and prowess. That was the thing that moved him. But he also noticed, he said there was this, when he started noticing problems, he couldn't unnotice them. He took off his own boots one time, and he set them to the side. And Amber came in and was like, "What did you just do? What did you do?" She was agitated. And he was like, I just took my boots off. And she was like, "No, that's for me. That's my job." And he said, "I took pause at that because I was shaken. I had broken her rules of routine." So when he broke her rules of routine, now that's going to be important too when you think about rules of routine. She wanted him to be on time for a birthday party, for example. What happens when he's not? She, according to Sean Bett, in public, she hugged him and treated him like everything was okay. But in private, she beat the bejesus out of him, threw his phone off a fucking a balcony. That's what she did behind closed doors because she's a monster. But in public, because he broke her rules of routine. 2012, thanks for the two. Lava Gigante is an alpaca, just saying. Man, Disney and their alpacas. Now, Depp, he discussed his acting career, a lot of it. And I thought it was very interesting to hear him discuss. He has never, by the way. So I was talking to a source about this. I was talking to a source that, let's just say they're close enough to be very well in the know. And did you realize that JD, he has never, and I do mean never, sat down and talked about it. Like they were bringing this up, he's never sat down for any kind of live or recorded interview where all these kinds of things would have been addressed. This was the first time that it's ever been done, ever. And it was done in a court case. He had to pay $6 million for the luxury of doing it. Because if he sat down with somebody, first of all, let me throw this out there. And I know it can't happen in the court thing, but if you ever want a fair shake, JD, you ever want to sit down with somebody and you ever want to talk about something and know you're not going to get ambushed, hit me up. we'll definitely, we'll talk that way. I'll put that on record. You get a fair shake. It won't be the Rolling Stone. It won't be any of that shit. You get to speak your truth. I think that'd be very fair. I'll throw that out there because I think that he's scared to speak because of the way the mainstream treated him. See, there's also this. I have this problem too, and I'm not as old as JD. And again, not saying anything about age and that, but I'm just saying, if you're really young nowadays, you understand the power of social media. You understand the power of platforms. At 58, you understand the power of mainstream news still probably. You don't really yet understand. Like, an article, like say the Daily Mail puts out an article. Let's just throw out a random place, the Daily Mail. You know why the Daily Mail gets a lot of circulation? It's because people start talking about it on Twitter. They start talking about it on YouTube. They start talking about it everywhere. Other people make the Daily Mails big. They don't do it on their own. They don't have the circulation anymore. Their circulation numbers are worse than a lot of us YouTubers. It's just they put out so many items per day that it gets their numbers looking better, but they boost up, But as somebody that grew up around mainstream media, that didn't have internet, it's a hard adjustment for thinking. At 58, you may still think you need the media to be uncanceled. You don't. You just need grassroots. You need that grassroots, baby. You can get a fair shake out there without them. We need to replace them as part of this. You need to tell your truth. And since you're out of the Hollywood system anyhow, get out of the whole system. Let them out of your headspace. They're unhealthy. They led to this. It wasn't just Amber Heard. Amber Heard wasn't the only thing that led to this abuse. Amber Heard put the words out there, but the thing that amplified them, the thing that turned them into a poisonous currency that could be spent at the expense of job and career, that was the media. They're the ones that transformed it into a weapon. They sharpened it and they pointed it in the right direction and they stuck it in the belly of his career. They absolutely did. Because when you think about it, who betrayed you? NGN, the Washington Post, those places, they knew what they were doing, but they liked that money. They like it more than they like. I understand the money thing too. Like I said, I understand the money thing. Every day, sometimes I think, man, why don't I take more sponsors? Why don't I take any sponsors? I had a Patriot Supply hit me up the other day. You know those places that send you bucketed food? They hit me up for a sponsorship, and I didn't write them back. But I thought, man, I know a lot of channels that do those. But you know what I mean? Like they just Patriot Supply. Can you hear that? Hey there, would you like a bucket of food to go with it? Would you like a bucket of rations to wash down your court coverage? Boom! I don't see how that works into the coverage, but hey, whatever. Now, Johnny Depp, when he was discussing his career, he talked about it from all the way from the beginning, humble origins, talked about knowing Nick Cage and getting jobs way back, which I thought was fascinating. He talked about Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm a huge horror buff, so I thought that was a fascinating discussion. But he goes through and he breaks his career up really into 2 points. And this is something that seems to be a regular occurrence with Johnny Depp when he speaks. It's before Captain Jack Sparrow and after Captain Jack Sparrow. And it's not that Captain Jack Sparrow made him by any means, but it made him a worldwide phenomena. It made him a theme park ride, It also made him, until somebody stole his money, it made him $650 million. You have to do something big to have that kind of money. So the before and after, he talked about the creation of Captain Jack Sparrow. He said, when I'm making this character, I wanted a character that he was talking about being around his kid for an entire year, about the joys of parenthood and not the watching the cartoons all the time. That's all you see. And when he created Captain Jack Sparrow, he wanted a character that could be accepted by 5-year-olds, 45-year-olds, 65-year-olds, and so on. He didn't think the movie was that good either. Like when he said, what did you think about Pirates? But it did well. So he was a harsh critic of. He wasn't the biggest fan of Pirates himself. But he thought other people liked it, and that's what matters. Now, after it, though, he talked about change of life. And I thought it was interesting, like he was talking about the need for security. He said after Pirates, he says Pirates 1. I just called it Pirates of the Caribbean. That way, I'll use Amber Heard or I'll spell it out. That way, like if it trends on Twitter, more people notice it. Because I want people to see what's going on. I want them to catch on to this conversation. Hold on for 1 second. Had to clear my throat, sorry. After Pirates 1 came out, my family and I were plunged into a different life. People would climb the gates to see Captain Jack Sparrow, or they bust into the gates. He used the words bust into, dressed as Captain Jack. And he talked about, worrying about safety and worrying about the safety of his kids. And that's where he gets, that's where he ends up getting security. Now, he did, of course, he didn't want to sound detached and out of touch here, like unthankful. He said, I've had worse jobs, so I can't complain about it. But after a while, you realize anonymity has left the building. That's how I feel. Like, I can't imagine his level. Again, YouTube is insane. When people talk about YouTube, I'm thankful as hell for YouTube. But I tell you, you get crazy people from it. Not fans, just crazy people sometimes. And they will do the worst things in the world. So I can only imagine what would be, that's just like 150-something thousand people following a channel. I can't imagine what worldwide acknowledgement looks like, because that's got to be scary. It's got to be crazy, I tried age shaming, of course. A lot of people tried, talking about him and his age. Like, a lot of people were making fun of his age today. I was thinking, what I thought when I saw Johnny Depp? I thought, man, at 58, if I can look like that, holy crap. He's used, by his own admission, he's used a lot of drugs. He's done a lot of things. He's lived hard, too. As a kid, he lived hard, and he still looks good. 50 freaking 8, he looks like that. Man, at 58, I hope. I hope. It's amazing, and some people were like, well, that's money for you. Really? Because I've seen a lot of people with money, and they still look like, let's just say they look like something Amber would leave in your bed, because they didn't look that good. Like, he looks good with his age. Warrior B, thanks for the 5. Profound. I left my abusive ex-husband 6 months after my wonderful father passed. Life is too short. Interesting concept. MK. Huge change. Terrible loss. Yeah. Well, it wasn't just like you said. You left after the loss of your father. Like I do find that fascinating that JD left his abusive wife one day after his mother died. Like, he finally decided it was over. He had to go over to the place and get his stuff. Sean Bett really told us something. This is something that's hard for me to explain to people that don't understand this case at all. So, Sean Bett made a statement. I'm going to continue with JD, but I just want to point this out, because JD's going to bring this up in a few days. I don't know what day it'll come up. But Sean Bett said that when they were over at the apartment there. Give me 1 second. I'm looking for something here. So when they were at the apartment there, they noticed that that Rocky Pennington had entered into the accommodations where Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were at. So I want you to think about this. So you have Johnny Depp go into the penthouse with Amber Heard. They're in there supposedly alone, right? You have the security guards. They're in the hallway. They move about. They're always there present. Then they catch on to there being screaming. They leave the hallway. They enter the room. When they enter, you have Amber side by side with Raquel Pennington. Now, Raquel Pennington states that she was texted and had to go over. And if I'm recalling it correctly, she had to go and she couldn't get in, had to go back to her thing and go back again. If I'm remembering that right. Somebody tell me that for sure, the thing. Didn't she say that she went, couldn't get in, had to go back, and then like get a key or something and go back in again? I think that was her story. Like, I could look up her statement, but I keep thinking that was it. And it's been a long day, so I may be messing that up there. Yes, okay. So here's Raquel Pennington's story. All right. Raquel Pennington said, I'm going to call her Rocky. It's easier. So Rocky, yeah, so everybody agrees. Okay. So Rocky says that Amber is in this distressed mode, right? Oh my God, this terrible stuff is breaking off behind the scenes. She gets a frantic text, hey, come help me now. So she goes to help. She gets to the door. She can't get in. Hey, wait, I have a soundboard. I forgot. Hey, I think I have door sounds. Let me see. So she gets to the door and she's like, oh God, come on, I can't get in. Can't get in. So she's like, gotta go run back. Hey, I think I have running too. Hey, I have steps. I wonder what cement steps sounds like. Hey, that's not bad. There she goes. She's running on cement. She runs back. She grabs her key. And she opens the door. She slams it shut. Then they're screaming. That's Amber. That's so dumb. Anyway, though, she does say she got the text. She left her room. She went to the door. She couldn't get in. She had to go back to her penthouse, get a key, go back. Now, the security people, they would have had to be bypassed in this because they would have been right out there. But not only that, they would have been bypassed twice. They would have seen all of this frantic movement and stuff, but they don't have that happen. Instead, what happens is they hit the door and enter, which the door wasn't locked because they were able to enter, so that didn't happen at all. And inside, there's Amber screaming. What a voice. Rah, rah. When did Rocky testify? She gave deposition, not in this trial. She's given depo. Remember, this trial, not the trial, but the stories have been manufactured since 2016. You have statements in 2016. You have statements that come up a little bit later. You have statements that pop up for 2020. And then you have statements for this. So you've had myriad statements that have been put together over the years, with all of these co-conspirators actually putting together their story of what happened that night. So, I mean, they've been working on it for a long time. And one of the beautiful things about that is they've had enough time to essentially hang themselves with their own stories. They've screwed up plenty of times. So, KH, thanks for the 5, just for the sound effects. LOL. Thanks. Yeah, I bought a soundboard. Like, there's a little soundboard that you could buy that was like, I think you could get the online version for $40. I wouldn't mind a real life soundboard where I could just reach over and use it, because this has all these other soundboards. But I do think it's fun. I like to play with it sometimes. I'm not gifted enough to use it and a million other things at one time. I wish I were, but I still remember I have it sometimes. But yeah, so that doesn't make sense, does it, at all? Like that, well, the reason I mention that is because you're going to have all of these friends and everything come in. They're going to be brought up. Eve Barlow, look in the middle of the break, like when there's a break, I just put out there, Eve Barlow is a bully that simps Amber Heard while using identity as a shield. She tried taking him on my channel multiple times and even managed to get herself kicked out of the courtroom. Share, tell everyone. Yeah, love doing it. Stokes wants a refund. Thanks for the 2. Amber is really freezing Amica. Oh man, that's funny. That's sad. Heather Pater, thanks for the 5. Incredibly Average has a video on that Rocky thing. That's good to watch. Rewatched it a couple of days ago to refresh it. Yeah, if you haven't watched that channel before, do it. Do it. Rock and Ruin, thanks for the 20. Did our boy do good on the stand? Did our boy do good on the stand? If so, can you give me some toast? I'll give you some sound toast. Later, but I'll give you some no song toast first, if you're okay with that. Because I got both versions. I have sexy toast non-sound. Look at that. Oh, he's so pretty. Just for that too, I'll give you a sexy shark. Sexy shark. Oh, sexy shark. Okay. Anyway. Thank you, Rocket Rude. How are you doing, by the way, bud? Yeah, he did good though. It was just an intro day, by the way. There wasn't a lot of back and forth. You're going to really tell how he does when the lawyers come at him. And I'm going to guess that this is the guy's real name. People think I'm making fun of him, by the way, but this is the lawyer's real name. Rottenberg, that is her lawyer's name. She has two of them. Call him Crazy Cat Lady and Rottenberg. But Rottenberg, or Rottenborn, I said Rottenberg. Rottenborn is his real name. So Rottenborn will probably be the one doing the cross. Rottenborn. Can you imagine that? Rottenborn. What a name. He sounds like a villain, doesn't he? So JD, he talks a lot about background. Now, again, if you didn't watch the testimony, I'm going to tell you, you need to go watch his testimony because he discusses a lot of things. I don't go into a lot of the background that he discusses because he talks for over an hour about background, and it's a lot that you'll find interesting and fascinating with just a JD discussing, period. Like if you haven't heard it, you need to go and check it out. So you get to a certain point, though, he starts talking about text. He's basically priming his text. He's talking about different things in life. They impact you, moods and whatnot, and they come through. And he's basically apologizing for the darkness of some of his texts from that moment. You know, he's talking about how humor, it alleviates a lot of that. So, he was telling people that he's on planet question mark. He doesn't know what the heck's going on, and he's trying to find his place. I'm going to say that when somebody burns your life down, you don't owe them any nicety at all. If you want to write a text to one of your friends saying you hope they find their their decaying corpse in the trunk of a Honda Civic, I'm okay with that. I am. I'm perfectly okay with that. Because that's not a subject of two wrongs. The wrong was destroying someone's life. The other one is just words. And you know what? He probably does hope that they find their corpse in the back of a Honda Civic. I wouldn't doubt that. I'm sure that he would have been A-okay with that if it happened. He's not saying he would make that happen, but if it happened, why would he care? So I don't think you owe him anybody an apology with that. I don't think any apology is owed. Ryan Coon, thanks for the 5. Depp didn't forgive his mother. He understood her. She knew what she knew. That's true. That's understanding, not forgiveness. Yeah, mother, again, you can't move past, like, it's just part of who you are. Like, you can't, you accept, like you say. You accept, you acknowledge. But forgiving, like I said, my daddy was a mean guy. My biological dad was a horrible person. And I don't forgive my dad. I wouldn't have been nice enough to move him in and help him. Like when he dies, I won't go to his funeral. That's just the reality of that. That's my biological dad, not my stepfather I talk about. But he's at least come to understanding acknowledgement, and he even took care of his mom at the end. He got her a place, and because, he's much more forgiving. Again, you look at stuff like that, you understand who the person is, but you see more of them. Oh, the person that abused you throughout your childhood, you moved them closer, you took care of them. Yeah, it sounds like a real monster to me there, guys. You're all right. Thanks for the share. Can we have Rottenborn in the case of the Little Umbrella Girl sequel? That might be funny. That might be funny, to be honest. And thanks for the 5. Amica Cream needs a snazzy jingle. Yeah, it does, My Amica Cream. It does. I'm not really a jingle person, but I think it would make a good one. What's up, Marty McFly? Pam, thanks for the 5 there. I think the most important fact brought up is how the wedding was rushed prior to the filming of Pirates of the Caribbean. The wedding was rushed. I'll tell you, from what I understand from sourcing, again, from people that would be close to knowing very well, the wedding was almost a farce because Depp, now you have one friend that's come out and said this openly, but you have other people that talked about this too. Depp was afraid that she was going to do something terrible. He was trying to placate her at that time. Now, the dumbest thing that he could do was to get with her without a document to save his butt, right? I mean, he needed a prenup, but he talked about how he loved her at the beginning. She was everything. Here's the thing with abusers, too. You've heard that with women so many times. If only I give them this, then maybe they'll change. If only they'll be that person that I loved again. If only I marry them. If only I give them that life without a prenup, life without a prosnup. Maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll be better. Again, the if onlys. The if onlys are something. But they're not. The one thing they're not is they're not accurate. They're not real life. Remember his medical doctor and his nurse told him that he needed to stay away from his wife because their relationship was toxic. That's a profound statement. If I, as a professional, I don't think I've ever given advice like as a professional when I've met with somebody. Again, I'm not a marriage counselor, but people will come in like again, I don't do therapy very often anymore. I have a few clients that would want to meet with me, but I've pretty much checked out of therapy for a while. I'm not getting into the why anymore, but you would get people you're working with and they would be in relationships and they would want them, or they would, they'd be referred over and they'd want to work with you. The people that are poor too, like if they have Medicare or Medicaid, they have the same needs. They just don't have like a private island to get away from a lot of this stuff. So they still end up needing the same services. And you'll find like a lot of people will lie to themselves in that. They will very much so. You see it, If only I could placate this person. If only I could make them happy. Because, you're taught by that person, you're taught that it's your fault. You made me this way. If only I could change myself a little more. If only I could do that then. So afterwards, JD starts talking about his substance abuse history. Now, it's been discussed here and there. I think it sucks that personally they has to talk about that, as I have mentioned. And I haven't talked about this very much. It's been in the last year that I've actually talked about this openly and honestly. I have an extensive history of substance abuse. I've that does not go past my kids. My kids, I would say I started around 16 to 17 and got really out of control around 18 to 19, and it went until, I had moments of sobriety in there, but I'm going to say, you have months like of moving or something, but it really followed me for a long time, let's just say. Move in, college, years and years and years of that. So I get it. Now, why do people use substances? They all use it for different things. I think JD, he's talking about, he used the words self-medication. He spent a lot of time getting to know himself. That's one of the beautiful things about being able to go through substance abuse treatment and everything else. Even if he still was a substance user, he still has been empowered with the tools to understand why he did it, what caused it. And he saw it, in his mom, but also, as we learned from his therapist, or not his therapist, but his nurse, her notes, he told her several times that I want to give up treatment because I need some of those knockout yum-yums, he kept saying. I need some knockout yum-yums because I can't deal with my wife. That's what he kept telling us. She was a monster. I need a little bit of that knockout yum-yum. Christine, thanks for the 2. Wyatt's testimony, damaged by Elaine, saved by Chew. Yeah. Well, Keenan Wyatt's testimony, she did more damage to herself attacking Keenan Wyatt because Keenan Wyatt, what she did was she tried to I mean, anybody that's got more than like 3 brain cells to rub together would understand. I'm talking about the jury there. If they got 3 brain cells to rub together, they would understand. She attacked him. She attacked him repeatedly. She was nasty about the way that she treated Keenan Wyatt today, which we'll talk about in a minute, but that was nasty. Ryan Coon, thanks for the vibe. Depp's moral compass was set by his father. Being a gentleman doesn't mean he forgave her. I believe that's why he left her a day later. I think it's really hard to leave relationships, even if they're broken. I've had a broken relationship before. I had a relationship. As a man, I see relationships different. Like if I were a female, I would probably call this a bad relationship. I had a girlfriend one time that didn't want me to leave, and she said that she wouldn't. She made a lot of statements there. So when I was pulling out, I had a little bitty car at the time, which I'm huge, so it probably looked like a clown car. But I had a Honda. I think a Accord at that. It's tiny, but I had put lifter piece, so you could push the seat all the way back because I'm tall. And I mean, otherwise I couldn't fit in the car. So I had to extend the front seat. But anyway, she went over to the porch, and while I was backing out, I had to stop by the road. She came running up, and I heard a bam on the back window, and it didn't hit it right. And then the tops of those cars are really thin. Then I heard a poof, it's like, what the hell? So I left. I was like, I got to get out of here. And when I stopped later, she had taken a hand axe, and how they have they have that sharp point at the back of it where they loop back in. She'd hit that car at just the right spot, and it sunk into the top. I had a hand axe stuck in my car. So if I were a female, you'd probably call that an abusive relationship. But as a male, that's just a crazy ex story, right? It's kind of interesting how that works, A hand axe. Oh, that was weird. It was a weird day. I was driving down the road with a hand axe in my car. I'm sure people were like, what in the world? Minnesota? Welcome. Minnesota. I like that. That's funny. Welcome and thank you. And also, thank you for your membership. And welcome to Tugs Thugs. Thanks for that name, too, because it caught me after a minute. I like that. Raccoon, thanks for the fine there. He forgave his mother's trespasses, but Turd hasn't died. If Turd was your wife, you drink and drug as well. Oh, yeah. Escapism, period. We have to have escapism. All of us do, We look for escapism. We look for a reason to walk away. We look for a reason to, get that hole in ourselves fixed. And I mean, a lot of people do that. A lot of people, and for a lot of reasons. But yeah, you're right. So Depp, when he was asked about his drug abuse, he said, he kept defining it as self-medication, which is correct. He was self-medicating. And he said it began with his mother. His mother used to ask him to go get her nerve pills. And he took some of those nerve pills himself because they were good enough for mama, right? They did a good job. She needed them all the time. He took them at 11. So as early as 11, he was self-medicating. Now, he talked a lot about his exam. I mean, I boiled that down, but I wanted that one high point in there. Now, I'm sure the reason he's bringing up he needs to own his substance abuse. Somebody was saying, too, that he was medicating. I think we were making a joke. Ricana may have made this joke. And he said, I don't really know how, about medication and cocaine. Yeah, cocaine will numb you out. It numbs your brain. You know what I can't remember who said this, but this is actually a very profound statement too. And I can say this with all honesty. Before drugs, you had a lot of problems. After drugs, you only have one problem, getting more drugs. That's the honesty of it. You just try to stay there all the time. You're always hunting for that place, you know. But I mean, that is the truth. And you know, they keep bringing up statements from his nurse saying that he said, well, he felt that drugs and alcohol were the problem in his relationship. Well, I'm sure because, you know, when he's knee deep in it, after a while you realize that you need to change. But it's hard to change, man. It's hard. You know, you gotta go through withdrawals. You gotta give up something that helps you cope. Like, forget the withdrawal. You have a physical dependency you can get by in a week, depending on something. It may take you 3 or 4 weeks, depending on what it is. But you have a mental dependency that takes a long time because you've been doing that for a long time. Like for him, he'd been doing it a long time, and it let him put all those demons to bed. It let him move around. It let him feel happy, even though it wasn't a true happiness. You know, and again, you sell yourself that. Uncle Brent, thanks for the 10. Elaine's ex was hideous. I wonder about her. Oh, God. She's a nut, man. I wonder about her competence. I know. I agree. Like, she's crazy. She's crazy. Alec Richardson, thanks for the 10 there. I saw my mom today when J.D. spoke on his mom's nerve pills. It was heartbreaking to hear. My mom was addicted for 13 years and don't remember a lot of our childhood, so his words really spoke to me. Yeah, I mean, it's rough there. You know, it does, you know, that's where, oh, somebody asked who Elaine was. That's one of the attorneys, Crazy Cat Lady. You know, the one we keep calling Crazy Cat Lady? You know? That's who we're discussing here, you know? That's exactly. I mean, the Crazy Cat Lady is nuts. When you know, there are other people that kept saying, you keep talking about Amica cream, we're going to purchase that. I went to Target. You know, it is funny because they kept bringing up Amica cream, and you know, Amica cream doesn't exist. You know, it's Arnica cream, apparently. I never heard of it, but apparently neither did they. So they kept bringing up, you know, bruises being covered by Amica cream. She kept saying, well, do you use Amica cream? Do you use that? And the defense, they did that for a few days. Like the entire first week, they kept talking about Amica cream and how good it was. And Heard never set her, what I thought was really telling is she never told her lawyer, hey, get that right. Now, I could see getting it wrong the first day, but then she's sitting right beside the lawyer. Or, you know, if it's such a crucial thing, oh, I got concealer and I got this cream here, you would think she'd know the name of it if she was using it that much. I mean, if it's a miracle drug, like I would be bathing in it. I'd be like swimming in that crap. I'd have a whole tub full of it. Because, I mean, it cures everything, apparently. You know, it's anti-aging, baby. I would be living in it. Ryan Coon, thanks for the 5. Cocaine will shine the darkest spot in your head till it runs out. That's true. Then the darkness drowns the soul and crushes it. Well, that's the problem with anything that it pushes that joy receptor. You know, you feel really good when your body is flooded, you know, just to dumb it all down. The same thing that makes you feel pleasure, the same chemicals, that's what cocaine does. So yeah, it triggers a rush of all of that. But when it runs out, when all those, any of the uppers really, when they run out, you know what's left? You're left with not only your body being back to normal, but it's depleted of any serotonin, any of that pleasure push, any feeling good. Your baseline is empty because again, it took all that excess and it just slammed it into you. So yeah. Hey, Forrester, thanks for the 5. Hey, Tug, about your comics. Thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Also finished Canvas of JD. You'll have to show me that. Mail me a picture of it if you want to. I love looking at people's work. So mail me a picture of that, if you don't mind. Yeah, dope. I said serotonin, didn't I? What did I say serotonin for? I don't know. My brain's tired. I'm tired enough that I'm forgetting like basic psychology. It's bad. I don't really last like it. All this streaming, man. I'm not used to it. I don't know how these I guess I don't know how Ricada streams like he does. I do not get it because I would have to be on the cocaine. I'd have to be like 3/4 like hooked up with my Colombian at all times, because I'd need that pure. I'd need to go to Colombia and hook it up. Because I mean, he does like a stream that starts at 9 and it goes until whenever. Then he has another stream at night. Then it goes until the god awful hours of the morning. I mean, it's just like, I couldn't do that. I would die. So JD talked about meeting Amber Heard. And when he first met up with her, maybe he takes Amicurine. when he first met up with her, she had auditioned 5 times. And Depp was being asked to read against her, to read with her. And he nicely said when he was discussing her that she was a bad actress, but I felt I could help her with the idea of stillness. So he brought up stillness as the idea, and I thought that was kind of interesting. He kept talking about that. If I can introduce her to the concept of stillness, that would hook her up and help her out. Now, along with that, I kept seeing Amber Heard. Like look at the way she's dressed here. See, out of every day, she knew that JD was going to testify. So she dressed it down. No real makeup to speak of. Her cheek, I'm telling you, if you're curious about it, I was looking up cheek filler because I don't know a lot about like cheek filler and other crap like that. But if you look up her injuries and compare them to cheek filler bruises, they look the same. But look at her face through all this. Like, look at how she's trying to portray herself. The problem is that like she's got this beady eye look. Like when I look at her, I don't think survivor. I don't even think victim. And again, when I say those two words, survivor, this is just how I define it, as a clinical use. A survivor is somebody that you can't remove that from you. You'll never remove what happened to you, but you've managed to put your feet in front of you and move forward. A victim is stuck in that moment. And that is not a negative, neither one is a negative term, but the way I see it, a victim is still being victimized. They're in the moment perpetually. Until you figure out how to get past it, you're always a victim. Once you figure out how to get past it, you're a survivor. That's how I see it. Thanks for the additional 2. What's your email, Tug? 2 words, granular, GRANULAR. Heaven, other one, HEAVEN. It's all one word, at gmail.com. It's attached to this channel. To mail, that's my business one. Why that one? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you why. I don't remember. Johnny, thanks for the 2 there. Thank you for having free and open chat. Oh, yeah. I want you all to be able to chat. The only things that we ban here are if people like do channel damaging stuff. I'm not talking about like disagree with each other or argue. You can do that because you can always block each other if you want, but if you're not trying to ruin the channel or spam and do problem, I don't care. Like I appreciate y'all coming on here. You should be able to speak your mind. If you disagree, if you think Amber Heard's innocent, you should be able to have that opinion. I don't know where you get it from, but if you think that, that's your prerogative, so our problem in society, I think, is broken down because we don't actually speak. Start telling things for the 2 there. Would Amica cream turn like injury to brown? That's a good question. Well, her Amica cream, actually, it's supposed to make the bruise spread out. From what I saw, there's some pictures for real on how it's supposed to work. You can look that up, and I saw somebody talking about how it worked there. Ryan Coon, thanks for that. So what's with Christopher Walken and drag? She walked without rhythm. and she attracted the worm. That's what happened. So JD, this is when he was talking about meeting her at first, I kept thinking, like, he doesn't even seem to realize this still. She was talking again, and I said this earlier. He was talking about how when he first met her, he thought she was the greatest thing. She was an angel, he said, because they had the same taste in obscure jazz. They had the same movie taste. You know, that they had a lot of the same dress and style. And that's because, you know, Kate James is one that even said that. She became the thing that she knew would reel that guy in, because he was great for her career. Before him, she was just some rando chick that was in a lot of movies that, you know, was considered pretty in a bathing suit. She wasn't a great actor. She never has been, and she's still not. She's still not a great actress. They tried her out in movies too, you know, as a leading person, and she failed repeatedly. She wasn't good in it. But JD, he got her some real work and acknowledgement. And of course, she paid him back. He paid her back. Or she paid him back. I'll get it right in a minute. She paid him back by screwing him over repeatedly. God, it took me forever to say that. Cockerel, thanks for the 5 there. As Johnny saying, he never watched Pirates. Is very common among actors not to watch their work due to their insecurities. I can't stand, okay, I'll tell you, like live streams, I hate listening to live streams. I will not listen to my live streams again. I hate listening to them. I don't like listening to myself. I'll listen to a video to make sure that it's okay because I'm chopping it up, but I don't like listening to anything just to hear it again. You know, all I hear is the flaws in what I do. I don't hear the good. So I can understand that. Our creations, you know, we're very judgmental. It takes me way too long to put together a video, the type I make, and I never want to see them again. Zebra, thanks for the Jamie. Thanks for the 279. No statement. Plenty of statement. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. You can time out those bots. But tomorrow when we go live, I would like to... Doug's video is flawless. I doubt that. I leave in stuff all the time on accident. Here's the thing that I felt about Amber Heard. Much like every other 4-letter word that's out there, some of these abusers think that love is a 4-letter word too. And they will use it and they'll weaponize it against you. But we went over the statement about family. Now, again, he had a lot more to say about their relationship coming together. About the trailer and all of that. I thought that was interesting. It sounded really, really like the Kevin Costner stuff. If you didn't listen to that, if you haven't heard the interview, go listen, or his interview. If you haven't listened to his testimony, make sure you listen to it. But he was starting to bring up different people as well. He brought up Whitney Heard, and he kept talking about her insecurities and how she was missing something in his opinion. But he said, you know, they had a relationship that was great, fantastic. And this is true, by the way. She admits he would call her sister. She would call him brother. But he said, I always felt Whitney had missed out on something. Like there was something missing in her. And it made me think, she sounds broken. And, you know, she didn't like Amber at all. And you know that she didn't like Amber because of statements that she made to Jennifer Howell. She considered Amber a monster. Very big time. Gabriel Badwolf, thanks for the, I'm going to say 2 there. Everyone is always their own worst critic. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Well, we are pretty hard on ourselves for anything we do or create. So did you ever do drugs with Whitney? Yes. He did cocaine with Whitney a few times. Now, I kept thinking this with all the discussion about drugs and these people. So they're drug abusers, right? They're substance abusers, yeah? But I thought substance abusers were all domestic abusers because substance abuse equals domestic abuse. So doesn't that mean that everyone in Amber Heard's friend circle, including Amber Heard, are all domestic abusers by their own admissions there. I mean, that's how it works, right? That's the rules. Aren't they all domestic abusers? Don't they all need to be jailed or something? So he was asked, how much rent did Whitney Heard pay? None. She didn't pay any rent, of course. How long did she live there? JD was asked. He was asked about, I think, Rocky. And he said, she lived there longer than me. It's true, too. They got to live there longer than him, and he paid for it. Then he started talking about the friend group. He brought them all up. You know, Rocky Pennington, Josh Drew, Io Tillett Wright. He talked about all of these people. Now he liked them, and he cared for them deeply. And he ended up paying for their lives. You know, ultimately, he paid for them all to live. They didn't live like you know, like for me, if he wanted to pay for my life, he'd give me a couple grand a month and we'd be gold. We'd be kosher, you know, and that, I mean, that's counting like place I'm living. Like Isaac B, you know, when he talked about money, he said he'd get like a envelope with $5,000 in it. He already had his utilities and rent paid, so he's good to go for, you know, a few months. And that makes sense to me. But for those people, I mean, you think, like the baseline, okay, like Raquel Pennington and Josh Drew, who screw over Johnny Depp big time. They didn't live and get their stuff paid for. They lived like rock stars. They lived like Johnny Depp. They lived right across the hallway from Johnny Depp. What did they do in their lives? They created bead jewelry to sell at the flea market. Again, if you do that, more power to you. That's not an indictment of what you do. But I'm going to tell you, if you make enough money to live in a $1 to $2 million penthouse making your bead jewelry, you're the first person I ever met that could do that at a flea market. I'm telling you, I've never heard. If you got some kind of designer flea market jewelry, that's astounding. And that's what they did. They went down to like the swap meet. They went... and they were asking for money all the time. You know, when they were down there, they were texting Amber Heard the day after all of this pops off, asking her if she would give them some money. Hey, do you got any money so we could, you know, get some for what we're doing? Because, you know, again, they were living off the nicety and kindness of someone else. Like Josh Drew... Josh Drew had like some kind of infatuation with knives too. I heard that Josh Drew liked to give knives. Like I heard early on, like it wasn't just him having knives in conversations. Like he would play with knives and he would show JD knives and he gave him like I think a knife with a weird statement on it or something. Like, I can't remember that story exactly, but it was one that was like a source-fed one that I thought, man, that's crazy. Like, Josh Drew sounded creepy. And he looked, like, if you look at him again, he's got this weird little shirt on where he shops at the Baby Gap, and he just creeps me out a little bit. He looks like somebody who thinks he's a man, you know? Like, you may be a man in California, but step out here to Tennessee, you know? You learn how somebody with some dad fat on them would, you know... we don't tolerate that kind of mess. But Rocky Pennington, this was a statement about Rocky. Rocky Pennington moved into the penthouses because she needed a place. Amber asked if it'd be okay with her, if I'd be okay with her moving in. And I said, of course I would be okay with your best friend moving in. Now here's the problem with that statement. And I really want you to think about this. So, Rocky Pennington was living across the hall from a guy that supposedly was isolating Amber Heard. Remember, Amber Heard was isolated and in fear for her life. I don't know if you remember that or not, but that's the way she says she was living. She was isolated and fearing for her life. So... Amber Heard, in the middle of Johnny Depp isolating her and making her fear for her life, had her best friend move in, and Johnny Depp wasn't like, nah, you can't do that because I'm isolating you. What did Johnny Depp do? He said, yeah, sure, I'm down with that. You can absolutely move your friend in right across the hall. I am totally okay with moving your friend in across that. Does that make sense? Like if you're trying to isolate somebody, he's the worst person at that. Like he is the absolute worst person at trying to keep her away from other people. Hey, Ryan Coon, thanks for the 5. A knife obsession is about 15 insecurities. Well, I had wondered about how creepy it was in the aftermath. Like, I heard from sources that, a lot of this stuff JD didn't know about. Like, when he found out about it, of course, it was very creepy to him. Like, and you would think, that would make sense, right? Like the knife thing, for example. And I heard when, he found out about the knife text, like that was really an oh my God moment, because he didn't realize people had been sitting behind the scenes talking about murdering him with knives, And then he found out about it. I said that's crazy, right? Like, I think that's crazy anyway. Now, there was a lot of other stuff in there too, but that's about where you got to, about the discussion. Now, there was another witness today as well. I want to talk about that witness as well, because they matter on the day too. They matter quite a bit on the day, in fact, because of a couple of statements that they said. And this was Keenan Wyatt. Now, Keenan Wyatt, if you missed the Keenan Wyatt testimony, you should definitely go back, because Amber Heard's lawyer, she was crazy today. Like, she went after him like he was Satan himself. And she started, like, yelling these weird things about how, like, on the airplane, she was like, did you hear Johnny Depp yelling at her about how I forget which actor, did he make your wet? Was he talking about getting down in your And it was just creepy. Like, she's crazy. And I would think as a juror, I'd be like, what the hell is going on? Because she's out of control. She's almost manic out there. Like, she doesn't make sense. She wants to be an attack dog, but instead she sounds like a buzzard, like a buzzard flying over the corpse of justice that maybe got into the cocaine a little bit. She was pretty nasty. You don't have a... she said some nasty stuff, though. And the reason she did that... So, Keenan Wyatt... I didn't know this about Keenan Wyatt, okay? I'd wondered why he was being added to this stuff. Well, it's because he was also around for one of the incidents. He knew what happened on the plane incident. Like, I didn't know that. I knew Stephen Deuters was there, and I knew Jerry Judge was there, but if you look at the setup for it, that's who KW is. I didn't know. Okay, let me show you this. I've always had, we've had this in Stephen Deuters' testimony, but I never really put it together. So this is the airplane, right? You have Stephen Deuters, you have Jerry Judge, Keenan Wyatt. I didn't realize who KW was until recently. So that's Keenan Wyatt. Keenan Wyatt was here for this, where Amber Heard says she got kicked in the back and all of that. He said that I went up to Amber Heard and I said, Johnny loves you. And she was like, how dare you talk to me? That goes right along with she won't talk to the help. Like, there have been a lot of people that have said that too. She doesn't believe in talking to the help. I've met people like that. I've met people that I knew some people that had money, and they always looked down, even like they were supposed to be like family friends, and they always looked at like myself. You know, they were friendly with my parents, but they looked at me like the help. You know, I was like, I ain't your help. You know, you're not gonna treat me like that. But Amber Heard's, see, there's been a lot of statements like this about Amber Heard. For example, somebody came out a few days ago and said, you know, I often recall how Amber Heard played to fly me and other survivors to D.C. for the Kavanaugh confirmation. She told us bluntly that she was not going to learn our names. After I spoke at the rally, she was at the end of the stage, wrapping me in very unwanted hug and trite platitudes. So you have, then you had Gina Duders that got out there and talked about how Amber Heard wouldn't make eye contact with her when she was when she first met her. I mean, you have all these people that are like, yo, she thinks she's better than you. So Keenan Wyatt, though, he's a sound technician. Now, I knew that he would come on to destroy one statement. I did a video on this, too, because I thought it was very important, because Hollywood, nobody in Hollywood was really backed her. Like that's a telling thing. But Hollywood, over time, has backed JD here and there. You have people that are out. She hasn't had anyone, really, in Hollywood come out. But this guy, like, he's tied to all 5 Pirates of the Caribbean. He's tied to other motion pictures as well, many motion pictures. He went through this litany of movies. And what was crazy is that Crazy Cat Lady tried to say, well, the reason that you have that is JD, right? He has you tied into to his contracts. Well, this is the guy that JD wants to work with, I guess. But this guy doesn't get paid by JD. He gets paid by whatever place that they're working for. He gets a union discussed, at least minimum salary. She tried to make it sound like, oh, you get flown out. You got your food paid for. You stayed in hotels. That's because of JD. No, the reality was that's what he normally gets. If he's on a set, that's what he gets. He always gets that. So I just thought that was crazy. But he was asked a bunch of times about Pirates of the Caribbean, like shutting down. What shut it down? Like, why was JD late? You know, and he was like, well, Amber Heard caused it. Objection. Objection, of course. So they brought up Johnny Depp wearing an earpiece. And again, I put this all in a video. Now, apparently, he started doing this with Brando. And after working with Brando, he wanted to keep doing this. Now, in addition to him being able to do anything like line work or whatever, he'll play music in it, you know, to help out. He could play different types of music that get him in a different type of mood. It would help out through working. And beyond that, too, he apparently likes to rewrite his lines. So what he would have to do is he'd have to have somebody help him to remember what a lot of his bass lines were, because he would stay up all night, like in his trailer, reworking some lines, you know, to try to help out. Like Pirates, again, you know, as far as Jack Sparrow is concerned, he created that character, you know. He created a lot of ad-lib moments in there too. Like, he's been credited with a lot of that. So that's what we were being told. He was also, he had been around. So he brings up Vanessa Paradis, and he brings up the children, and he said, you know, I went on vacation, and this is nasty. On Cross, he brought up the kids. Again, he brought up Vanessa Paradis, 14 years. Johnny Depp was with her. She doesn't have anything negative to say about him. Even after he left her for Amber Heard, which she could have been very nasty about, she's like, no, you know, I care about him. He's a great man. He's a good man. And despite all of that, Amber Heard's lawyer starts talking about, well, you don't really know if he beat her behind the scenes. You don't really know if he beat his kids behind the scenes. You don't really know if he was an abuser and he was harming them and doing horrible things. And that's the thing. Like, they play this game. You weren't there for every second of every minute. You weren't there for everything. I can tell you myself. I can look at that guy and I can tell you that either he is an actor that never puts his guard down and he has it for a long time, or he's being genuine about things. You could hear it in his affect. You could hear it. You could see it in his face and his emotions. But you could hear it in so many other things. But they wanted to play this game. So Keenan Wyatt, though, talked about being on the flight there, and he was on that flight. I just showed you the diagram. But he said that Amber Heard was giving Johnny Depp the cold shoulder. She was quiet. She was really pouty. So he wanted to do something about it. He wanted to help out. So he walked up and he said, Johnny loves you. She yelled at him. She was like, how dare you talk to me? And kept yelling and berating him. And part of the reason that he says there were problems on the plane is because she kept being horrible. And this was a friend of Johnny Depp. So he's like, why treat my friends like that? It's messed up. And he is very protective of friends. If you want to see something that's really telling about him and his friends, look at people everywhere from Isaac Baruch. You look at his security guards that have been there forever with him. But Stephen Duder, he's been there and he's risen through the ranks. You look at all these people. They have been around Johnny Depp forever, and he doesn't let them go. His success feeds their success. He has always just kept it circular. He has kept it going. And it's kind of amazing. So you could believe him taking up for somebody. Meanwhile, you hear about how Amber Heard, treats people that are close to her. That's very telling too. Hey, Shabaka Wookie, thanks for the $2.79. Paradise. Hey, do you Amica? It's funny. I love him, yeah. Like everybody around him is very loyal. They're not loyal to his wallet. Like I don't get the feeling that they're loyal to his wallet. I get the feeling that they're loyal to him because he's loyal to them. Because they think he's a decent dude. One day I hope I can sit down and I can tell you everything that I know. Everything that I've heard. One day, if all the trials are over and everything else is there, I want to sit down and I want to be able to tell you an amazing story or two or four. Because there are some stories that just knock your socks off. But they would be damaging to talk about these days, so far. But maybe when it's all over, we can talk about it all. Because I got some amazing stories I could tell you that just I've picked up from sources, or I myself, I know for sure, and you'd be like, wow, that's pretty cool. They speak, they're a testament to person, But then you got Cross, like I said. You kept getting things like, so the first thing that he got hit with, and the judge was so terrible about this. First thing he got hit with was Johnny Depp's contracts. Now, he shouldn't have been asked about the contracts at all because, well, obviously he doesn't know what Johnny Depp's contracts look like. Why would he know about Johnny Depp's Pirates of the Caribbean contract? The judge, anytime there's an objection, let it roll through, though. And this guy, he kept saying, I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know that. And he kept getting asked. It was asked and answered. And he answered it a dozen times and the judge kept letting it go through. Now, Johnny Depp's team, I felt, dropped the ball sometimes. They should have been harder about objections. They should have gone harder at it. But the judge kept letting them through. It's messed up. He was being asked to answer something, though, he had nothing about. And they were insane arguments. Like, listen to this. Let me pull up something real quick, okay? Give me 1 second. I'm going to turn this off real quick. And I'm going to pull up. I did a video earlier, and I want to play a piece out of it. Because it's crazy. Man. Stupid YouTube. I'm always horrified. Like when I click a button and like my channel doesn't pull up, I'm like, oh no, they banned me. After that's happened like 4 or 5 times, you worry about it. I think it's crazy too. Like Ezra Miller today, like I was saying, Ezra Miller got his butt in trouble again. How do you do that? You know, how does Ezra keep doing this stuff? Like, there was this argument. Give me 1 second. Okay, so listen to this here. Now, part of her argument today. Make sure we got the sound on. All right. So part of her argument, I don't want to play a lot of her. If you didn't watch it, you should watch the end of their discussion and watch some of it. Just watch this video. If you haven't watched the video anyway, watch it, please. Because Johnny Depp started testifying 35 minutes after it went live, and it murdered this video, which understandably, you know, it's part of a courthouse thing, and it was like, oh, there goes Depp, there goes that video.
Depp, if he was in a hotel, correct?
Not necessarily all the time.
Right, and if he was in a house, then
Wait, listen. Okay, wait. They're talking about comparables, is what she was.
pretty soon. But you also had your airfare paid for, correct? For travel.
Yes.
You had your
You
airfare paid
also
for?
were put up in the same hotel as Mr. Depp if he was in a hotel, correct?
Not necessarily all the time.
Right, and if he was in a house, then you got a comparable hotel close by, right?
I got a place to stay wherever we were filming, yes.
And it was comparable.
Comparable to Johnny's? No.
It was a
Comparable to Johnny Depp's. So they were trying to make it sound like Johnny Depp was paying for everything there. He's a witness for every one of these people. To them is for sale. It's astounding. Like they just insulted his professional integrity. They make it sound like he works for Johnny Depp, which he doesn't. He's worked as a contractor for Johnny Depp in the past, but he doesn't work for Johnny Depp. So you have her saying things like when he was staying somewhere, you got a place that was comparable to Johnny Depp. And he's like, no, you know, when I'm on location, we stay with whomever. You know, we stay where all of the other people that are working on set are. You know, we all get a place there. It's not bad or anything. And she's like, yeah, but it's just like Johnny. No, you know, he's a superstar. He stays over here. We stay, you know, where the people who just work behind the scenes on stuff are. And it's just, it was insane to listen to. Like she is nuts. And I hope to God when the jury listened to her, they could tell just how nasty and combative. She just made up stuff. Like she testified today. Like a lot of her statements that the judge allowed, it's just like in opening. She testified. She kept just bringing up the most inane, weird statements. And the judge, it feels like anytime there's a good objection, the judge just kicks it to the side. But they would bring up also, they brought up Marilyn Manson. They brought up Marilyn Manson for why? To bias the jury, in my opinion. Oh, you know, Johnny Depp. You know, did you know about him and Marilyn Manson in Australia? I mean, it was like, why would you even bring that up? Kenan White has nothing to do with this, and you know it. You just wanted to throw that in there to bias the jury. It's trash. It's absolute trash. Like I said, they brought up Vanessa Paradis. They brought her up like she was being abused. And it was nasty. She threw in this statement. She was like, did Johnny Depp ever drink Red Bulls? I kept thinking, well, what's the problem with Red Bull? I get that you can mix it with something like vodka, but if he was drinking Red Bull by itself, well, what's the issue there? Is it because they give you wings and, you know, well, being hooved herself, she can't stand that? I mean, what does that mean? I kept thinking, what in God's name is she talking about here? It's just like I said, I couldn't believe that. But she kept speechifying. You know, that's what I call it. Rambling, speechifying. She was making speeches. And the speeches they were meant to have. And she kept saying things like, Johnny Depp could have kicked Amber Heard, right? And Keenan White would be like, no, I didn't see that, no. But he could have, right? No, I didn't see that or witness that. But he could have, right? No. And the judge kept letting it happen with objection after objection. That is asked and answered. She was allowed to just keep going and going and going and going and going. Someone made me an Amica jingle. Check Twitter. Is it linked to me or is it sent to me? I have to check it. If somebody didn't link it to me, like link it to my messages or something, because I have, well, if you look at the statements here, look, like there's 360 likes on that. You know, I have like 100 posts like that. So I have probably 200,000 or 300,000 likes alone that are coming in, and I can't find anything. You know, like I'm getting notifications, but there's so many I can't find anything outside of it. So somebody will have to message it to me or send me a link of it, because otherwise I can't find it. But at the end, there was one important question to ask. Has any woman, will Amber Heard be testified? Yes. Has any woman aside from Amber Heard ever said that Johnny Depp raised a hand to him? No. Yeah, if you want to know who's going to testify, by the way, there's a list of everyone. It's actually a list of his and hers put together, so we're just going to use it, all right? There are a lot of witnesses. Now, remember, witness by designation means more video that we've seen, okay? We're going to get a lot of those, too. But, like you have Amber, Johnny Depp. You see all these. You'll have her friend group. You'll have a few professionals that she'll bring in. You see the people for him, too. Now, what was interesting is, like, some of these aren't right. Like, Isaac B., he wasn't in person as listed, and yet there he was, right? So some of these are actually not correct. He wasn't listed as somebody that was going to be there. He was going to be a deposition by designation, you know, or whatever, but he wasn't listed on the list there, but he ended up being there. But you can see, like, okay, this is just one list. Christian Carino will be, Carino, whatever. He'll be interesting. I'm probably butchering his name. Sean Bett, you know, he had by designation. So you see that deposition by designation. So you're going to have the designation on there. You're going to have, here's the business records. For some reason, I kept thinking all those were record declarations or something. I don't know. My brain's tired. But here's your record declarations. You're going to have Walt Disney in there. You're going to have Stephen Deuters will be there. Debbie Depp, we've already seen. No, wait. No, I'm sorry about that. We saw Christy Dimbrowski. My bad. Cowan. I mean, look at all these names here. James Franco. So when you look at it, you know, Whitney. Elon Franco should have been forced to appear. I'm surprised they actually got to appear, period. Because Elon Musk, as far as I know, dodged deposition. They must be pretty desperate to want him to come in there, to allow him to come in at all. Because Elon should have been struck down off it, because he has dodged any kind of subpoena for years. He has done that dance around them for freaking years. Yeah, if you look at that, again, you know, you have the friend group for Amber Heard, Elon Musk, of course. Like when you look through it again, there's a lot of people in there. There's a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of testimonies that are going to have to come up. Waldman. You still have, like, I'm wondering about, okay, so Johnny Depp's supposed to be 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks of not just Johnny Depp, but Johnny Depp's side of things. I figured Johnny Depp, though, can I post the link for the jingle demo in chat? Somebody with a wrench can post it. Like, they'll be able to post it in there. Because that before, if somebody will link it to me in Twitter or something, I'll definitely pull it up. I'll look at it first to make sure it's not copyrighted or something. But I'll definitely look it over. Or somebody can mail it to me, just send it to me. So what do you think? What do you folks think about what's happened here so far? How do you feel about this trial? Do you think right now, if you don't feel good about the JD stuff, it's bad because these are his people. This is his side of it. So this is his presentation. If you feel like it's going okay, then you're good to go still. Daydream, thanks for the 5. The judge might be trying to hold her emotion back a little too much since this case is a huge deal. There are a lot of reasons. This is a nice one. Yeah, that's true too. One of 3 outcomes as I see it. I did mention, no, not recent mentions. It's my Twitter, like I said, my Twitter is overran by tags and stuff. I can't find that. Somebody will have to send it or mail it to me. Because my replies and mention, it's just, I'm flooded right now. Like, unfortunately, that's the downside. I'll look and see if I see it, but I'm not able to find much of anything. Let me see if it's right there. I see like mentions in the last. Maybe that's it. Let me see if I can catch that one. Give me a second. Maybe this is it. Give me a second.
It's Amica cream. Does your life fall flat? There's a cream for that. It's Amica cream.
Does your life fall flat? There's a cream for that. That's funny. Yeah, I got you there. Gamer's eyes. That is kind of funny. Does your life fall flat? There's a cream for that. It's Amica cream. Let's play it again.
Does your life fall flat? There's a cream for that. It's Amica cream.
Do you like that word? And leave the bed with a turd? It's Amica cream. Gross. Anyway. All right, so what we're going to do tomorrow, like I said, with you folks here, I'm going to put a notification up tonight sometime that will be a live stream here. I'll probably start an hour early. I'm going to be 5 minutes late or so, but I'll try to be, like we can cover about an hour or something. I'll put up one video tomorrow, and then we'll have our stream. We'll go over JD's testimony. We'll talk about all of that. We'll go from there. We'll have fun with it tomorrow. Like I said, we'll see how that goes, That's your first live, Erica. I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow, like I said, if you're on and you want to see the trial, we'll do it here. Fashionably late. Now, I try not to be too late myself, It shows up for court. Like I said, if you want to watch other places, don't feel obligated to watch here or there, but definitely, if you want to come over and watch it here. We'll have fun with it. All right. But anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to jump off here. I appreciate you. Not going to lie. Hearing my own voice back is odd. I know it's very weird. Like what's weird in my sound, when I have to do mic checks, it's very weird. That's why I like the voice changer, because if I do a I could be like, this is a mic check. Would you like some Amica cream for that? See, that's how you have fun with it. Does your life fall flat? There's a cream for that. It's Amica cream. Anyway, all right. Well, hey, I'm going to play some Sexy Toast and we're out of here, okay? Here we go. Give me 1 second. I owe some Sexy Toast. All right. Y'all have a good one. And remember, treat life always butter side up. Bye there.